Hey, it's Delta Zero of Living Vicariously, and today we are making garlic tofu. You'll have to pardon my inexperience. I'm a bit out of my element in this video. I've never made an actual serious instructional cooking video before. You can see all the items listed on screen and their measurements. I have a link below to the source article where I got this recipe, as well as the actual ingredients and everything you need, so there's no need to go back to this video. It's just for informational purposes. I have it on screen. So now that we have everything all gathered, let's get this started. We're going to start with 1/3 cup of chicken broth. Next, you're going to need 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And now we're going to use something called oyster sauce. You only need 1/4 of a cup of this, in other words, 4 tablespoons. I'll discuss the flavor of this later on in the video. And yes, you did read that correctly. You need 6 cloves of garlic. That's quite a bit. You do need to deskin the garlic, and then it recommends that you crush it. So I am incompetent with crushing garlic, but I did find a utensil, I guess you could call it, that was up to the task, a lemon squeezer. So crush the garlic and it should look something like that. Next, you're going to want to drain your brick of tofu. If you've never worked with tofu before, it's almost like a gelatin. It's very, very easy to cut through. You do need to cube it out. Doesn't matter if it's pretty, it's just tofu. Tofu, for the record, is very high in protein and relatively low in calories, so it's a healthy little snack. In fact, I'm going to have a piece right now. Alright, we have all of our ingredients all set, all ready to go. Now is the easy part. We're going to put that 1 tablespoon of olive oil into the pan, let it fry up a bit. And now in goes the tofu. You can do a lot of different things with tofu. I usually make fried lemon pepper tofu, which is quite good. Next comes the garlic, the crushed garlic. You mix it in with the tofu and the olive oil. When it comes to the oyster sauce, only put half of what you poured out into the pan. We'll use the rest of that later. And now simply stir everything up. I do recommend getting the tofu so it has the rougher, more crispy exterior. That's at least my preference with tofu. Just depends what you want. I did undercook the tofu a little bit in this video. So when it's golden brown and cooked to your liking, we are going to discard the tofu in another bin, and we're going to use the exact same pan and pour in the 1/3 cup of chicken broth. We are going to cook the vegetables separately from the tofu right now. And now you just stir the vegetables in. They should be thawed to some extent for a few minutes. And then we're going to add the remainder of that oyster sauce that we didn't add to the tofu. And I can confirm this does add a lot to the flavor. So you'll definitely want to do this for the vegetables. Looking pretty good already, isn't it? And it doesn't even have the tofu in it. Speaking of which, we're going to now add the tofu after about 5 or 6 minutes of cooking the vegetables and the chicken broth. And remember, we already have the tofu already seasoned and ready to go, so it's just a matter of stirring it for a few more minutes and deciding when you're ready. And that's it. That looks scrum-diddly-umptious. It does say that the recipe gives you 4 servings, although I would say this would comfortably fill a family of 3 if you used all of it. And this step is completely optional and is not in the recipe. This is sriracha sauce. It's like a Thai chili sauce. It's used in a lot of Asian cooking. Very delicious and kind of spicy too. So if you want to add a little bit of a kick without taking the garlic away, consider adding some. And now, some black pepper and my immediate thoughts.
What's good about this is that you can taste the garlic in the tofu, because tofu absorbs the flavors it's cooking with, so I can absolutely, I would hope there's 6 cloves of garlic, for God's sake. I'd hope I could taste the garlic. But it's really prominent in the tofu. Not enough to where it's overpowering. Definitely not. It's not like something that you would just, if you didn't like garlic, you would hate it or anything. It's not that kind of strong flavor. But it's absolutely there. By cooking the veggies separate from the tofu, you can actually, you get the oyster sauce actually gives them a little bit more of a flavor because you save about like half of the oyster sauce. I don't know how to describe oyster sauce. It's like a teriyaki gravy almost. I've never had it before this meal, so this is all new for me. Next time I'm going to avoid these. I don't like these. But the cauliflower, the broccoli, carrots, all that kind of stuff is good.
Overall, I would give this recipe a pretty big thumbs up. In the future, I would let my tofu get a little more crispy on the outside, and I wouldn't use those chewy Italian green beans. But other than that, I liked it a lot. It's a very easy recipe to follow, and if you're like me and not much of a cook, it's something you can whip up in less than 30 minutes. And on top of that, it's a pretty healthy meal.
Hey, can you hear this? I'm cooking.